Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday, April the 19th. We're joined today by our Secretary of Tourism, Chelsea Ruby. Everyone knows Chelsea does an amazing job, and she's going to update us on some stuff and tell us some exciting new things that are going on in West Virginia. And I think you'll really like to hear from Chelsea in just a few minutes. But before I get there, I'd like to say this, that our flags are going to be lowered and to half staff, and the reason for that is because of the loss of Cody J. Mullins. Cody's 28 years old. I don't know how in the world a tragedy like this happens, but they do. He was fighting one of our fires and everything, from what I understand. And I hope this is accurate, but he was at the end of his shift and decided, because others were going up, and still fighting the fire, that he grabbed his gear and right back up he went when a really bad thing happened. A tree fell on him and we lost him. And so I spoke with his mom and dad. His fiancee, Brittany, I didn't have the opportunity to speak with her, but we will really miss a great young man, and we just want to all join in just celebrating a terrific life. But yesterday I issued a proclamation ordering the flags at the Capitol in Charleston and all state-owned facilities in Fayette County to be at half staff today in commemoration of this distinguished life and the service of Cody Mullins. But we lost a great man. We lost another one of our heroes, but we thank him, and we thank him in every single way. Thank you so much. Okay, I've also issued a proclamation that bans all outdoor burning throughout West Virginia at this time. The ban will be in effect until conditions improve, and I rescind that order by further proclamation. My order makes it unlawful for any person in the state to engage in outdoor burning, including fires built for camping, the burning of debris, or any warming. So outdoor burning is banned for right now. We get some rain and everything, we'll lift this, but for right now, we absolutely can't have more outdoor burning that gets into, forest fires and real issues. The CDBG situation, today I am announcing more grants, and these are block grant mitigation funds worth $12.7 million. These funds are going to be used for infrastructure renovation, dam restoration, stream restoration, and wastewater treatment projects across 4 counties. Those counties are Webster, Fayette, Nicholas, and Summers County. And basically this is a proactive measure to reduce, major disasters that could come in the future. So $12.7 million on the way for these projects. We're really happy to be able to do it, and this will just make things better. That's all there is to it. Our Dark Skies project is working. I don't know of anything that we have tried tourism-wise, and I'm really proud of this young lady. We absolutely work hand in hand, and a lot of goodness has come from the great work of all the people at tourism and everything. And so if our Secretary Chelsea Ruby, would come on and tell us all kinds of good stuff that's happening.
All right. Thanks, Governor. Appreciate you having me on today. So as you mentioned, I'm excited today to talk about a new promotion. We just launched our Dark Skies promotion. So post-COVID, we're continuing to see people looking to get away from the crowds. They want outdoor recreation, they want relaxation, they want to just get away. One of the most popular activities that we've seen is stargazing. In West Virginia, if you look at a light map of the East Coast or even of the United States, it's jarring to see the dark spot over West Virginia. We have one of the largest and darkest sky sheds in the entire U.S., but especially on the East Coast, and are receiving a lot of recognition for the stargazing opportunities available here. So last year, the International Dark Skies Association, they're kind of the gurus for stars, they gave us 3 designations in West Virginia for dark sky parks. There are less than 200 of these worldwide, so this is a really big deal, a really big recognition. We also had Travel and Leisure put out an article saying we're one of the most underrated stargazing states in the country. So we're excited to be getting all this recognition. We're excited to see more and more people coming to the state to see the stars. It's a great activity that you can do in all 55 counties, and we're trying to make it easier for folks who are interested in coming to West Virginia or West Virginians who want to get out and explore. So to do that, our website, wvtourism.com/stars. You can learn about the constellations. You can get activities to do with your kids. You can even enter a giveaway for these awesome prizes here, a GoPro, a fanny pack, a Nalgene, a headlamp, and some other things. We'll be giving those away to about 100 lucky winners. So we're thrilled about it. We just launched it this week. Have had over 100,000 people look at our videos on Instagram and are hoping for more in the coming weeks.
Let me add just one thing, okay? And I'm going to probably get in trouble about this. I get in trouble all the time. But you know, a long ways back, and I said, what is truly, truly amazing is probably a lot of the people that looked at West Virginia, maybe the Bette Midlers of the world, that looked at West Virginia as dingy and dirty and dusty and all related primarily to the fact of our coal mines or whatever it may be. They looked at West Virginia as poor and surely not very well educated. Well, we surely got challenges with our education, and we continue to try to make things better and better. But we got great schools, and we got great teachers, and we've got a loving atmosphere to where genuinely our teachers really care for our kids, and our schools are our centerpiece in our communities. But with all that being said, I said long ago, isn't it unbelievable that George Clooney could walk on his little terrace in Beverly Hills and can't see across the road? But absolutely then what happens is all that smog lifts up into the atmosphere and floats across us, and our great hardwood trees clean up their mess for them. Now, with all that being said, in addition to all that, and my phone just went off, in addition to all that, and it was not George Clooney or Bette Midler, which is really good, you know, but in addition to all that now, just look at the pristine skies, the pristine cleanliness. Absolutely, our atmosphere is so spectacular, it's off the chart. So here we go again. West Virginia being discovered as absolutely being a spot for stargazing that is second to none and everything. And so really, really proud. And Chelsea, come on and tell us about the airlines. Please do that.
Okay, before I do that, I have one quick story. So, Governor, I don't know if you remember this, but in one of my job interviews with you, you slid across the table a tourism ad and said, "What's wrong with this picture?" And admittedly, I failed the test because I had no idea what was wrong with the picture. But what you told me is that what was wrong with the picture is it wasn't unique. It wasn't unique to West Virginia. And you said, from here on out, I want to make sure every ad about our great state shows what's different about our state, what's unique about it. So thrilled to death today to do this because it's one more way that we are able to showcase the uniqueness of West Virginia. But what you asked me to talk about was airline updates. So a couple weeks ago, we all gathered at Yeager to celebrate the new flights from Breeze Airline, the partnership with them. I'm thrilled to report that just a couple weeks later, we've seen incredible sales on those flights. We're seeing a lot of people coming to West Virginia. We're also seeing West Virginians using those flights and getting out. Because of the overwhelming response, the airline has already contacted us. And just last night, tickets went on sale for 2 additional flights. So we've established the flight to Orlando. It was twice a week. It is now 4 times a week, and we've upgraded the flights to a bigger aircraft. They're now Airbus 220s. So it's going really, really well. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the support of everyone who's using those. Keep booking your tickets.
That's really great. Isn't that good news? Isn't that wonderful? Great, great, great stuff. And we're just going to keep right at it and everything. And I do want to say this in all transparency. I love George Clooney in the movies. I really do, and everything. But when it really boils right down to it and everything, all I'm trying to illustrate, if they can't see across the street there, then why in the world would they be throwing rocks at West Virginia? So with all that being said, let's move forward to something else here before I get in more trouble. But West Virginia's seasonally adjusted unemployment rate has dropped to 3.4%. It's amazing in March. That's a new number and everything. The national average is at 3.5%, so we're a little bit below the national average, and we picked up 1,900 people that were unemployed. The unemployment total dropped by 1,900, and we picked up an amazing amount of new jobs, and so lots and lots of good stuff there. DHHR, I've got to tell you this, and this is in regard to our child and youth protective service workers and everything. We've made an aggressive move there to really try to amp up those folks and everything and get them hired. And since January, we've hired 29 additional child and youth protective services workers, and that's surely not enough, but we're on it, and it is a significant improvement. And so to all those folks that are DHHR and everything, I thank you. I thank you. We welcome the new hires, and we'd tell you just this, that if you want a life of great honor and great feelings of accomplishment and a feeling of really doing something wonderful and getting paid, at a good wage and everything, please contact the folks at DHHR, and we'll try to work through the process and get you in one of these positions because we need you. We really need you badly. Okay, the DOT kicked off the highway construction season on Monday rather, and we also made a real pledge to work really, really hard with law enforcement and all the folks that are associated with the DOT and everything to really do something about this work zone safety. There's absolutely, I said it then, and I stand by it. I mean, do our people not deserve the right to be able to get their dinner bucket, the great men and women that are working on our highways, to get their dinner bucket and go to work? And do they not deserve, the same folks, the right to absolutely return home safely to their families? They're right there doing work for us all over this state. It is unbelievable the amount of work we have done and we continue to do all across the state. Slow down a little bit. For God's sakes a living, these folks are within feet of you traveling up and down the road at whatever mile an hour it may be. They're within feet of you. And it's so easy to have a catastrophe. So please be really, really, really careful. Now I'm going to read to you just a couple of things. The 2023 paving season that we just started will have 126 projects statewide. There'll be projects in all 55 counties. Over 260 total miles of highway will be resurfaced. A total investment of $290 million. Additional miles will be added to the roadways and everything and paved as well as the larger projects that are all going on in my Roads to Prosperity program. You've got to know that and I say this not selfishly, because there is so many people, so many that are pulling the rope and making this happen. But when it really boils right down to it, from the day I walked in the door, on that day, you couldn't drive to the convenience store without tearing your car up, hitting potholes, and jarring you through the ceiling of your car. It's a different animal today. And we've made it so much better. We want to keep on doing that. We want to keep pouring it on in that direction until they're all done. All the roads are done. We've still got plenty to do and everything, but these great men and women are doing great work. Slow down and absolutely, just give them the respect that they need. The last thing I've got is, I want to make sure this is right, but the 2023 online project map for the 5th year, our interactive online map of road projects in West Virginia is back. Everyone can keep tabs on how much work we've completed, and everyone can see what's coming next. So that's all up for you as well. All of you know all the successes that I've reported to you and you've seen all across this state with communities and schools. And it's been amazing. I've said this 1,000 times, and you know me well enough to know that I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it with all in me. I've seen a lot of projects at schools, and I'm in the schools a lot. I don't know that I've ever seen a project like Communities and Schools that works any better. Really and truly, they don't want anything. They just want to help kids that are having a tough time. Whether it may be just talking to someone, it may be that they need a coat, it may be that they're hungry, it may be that there's some bad problem going on. Now they have done so well, and a lot of those kids were either lost or going to be lost. But not only that, a lot of those kids that were really struggling for whatever the reason may be, were or could very well have been disruptive to other kids. So this whole project is really working, and it's been really amazing. But what they've done now that's even more profound, that I love beyond belief, because I'm a dog lover, and I can see it. I can see it over and over and over. They're introducing therapy dogs to schools. Now, they're real expensive, and they can't just put one in every school because they cost a lot of money to be trained and be properly trained. So I think now that tomorrow, the First Lady, Kathy, my wife, will introduce Oakley, a male Labradoodle, at Oakvale Elementary School in Princeton. Oakley is the 12th therapy dog to be placed as part of Friends with Paws, an initiative through Communities and Schools. And like I said, I couldn't be any more proud. But let me tell you this story real quickly. A young man, a young kid, and I think the school is in Wyoming County. But this kid, has surely a lot of challenges. And all of a sudden, they got a therapy dog, and I have a picture of this child, and this child is reading to the dog. And when this child was introduced to the dog, the child would not interact much with the teachers or the staff. And they really were trying to break through to this child. And this child that has, like I said, many challenges, said when he was introduced to this dog that evening, I guess when he was going home, He said he turned to the staff or to the teachers and yelled, "Best day ever." I'm telling you, there's lots and lots and lots of good going on, and I thank Kathy and all those with communities and schools to make this become a reality as well. Well, we lost another American icon. We lost Charles Stanley. He passed away at the age of 90. Charles Stanley was the senior pastor at the First Baptist Church in Atlanta and founded Touch Ministries. I'm sure that you've seen him on broadcast over and over and over. A soft-spoken man with incredible knowledge and absolutely brought us many, many, many great moments, taught us many things about the Bible, and absolutely touched our lives with Christianity beyond belief. His broadcast, and this is what my notes say here, in the United States, the show was broadcast on approximately 500 radio stations, 300 television stations, and several satellite networks. As of today, his program is broadcast in every nation across this globe via the radio, shortwave, or television broadcast. We'll miss him. We'll miss him a lot. And we know right this minute that he's with God and probably doing a lot of great work waiting on all of us. Charles, thank you so much, Pastor. I've got a COVID update, and we're going to play a video from General Hoyer, and that's all I've got for right now. General, please come on.
Governor, I appreciate the opportunity to provide another update. This is being recorded on April 18th, 2023. We have received a number of additional questions lately regarding any availability of free COVID testing. So I want to start out by reminding folks that they can go to vaccinate.wv.gov and click on free testing, that tab at the top, and it will again provide an interactive map and the opportunity for sites that may be available for free testing. That reminds me of this particular anniversary of April 17th. Yesterday was the anniversary of April 17th, 2020, when the governor issued what we, as his team, believed was a very bold executive order, which directed the DHHR, the National Guard, and other partners such as the West Virginia Healthcare Association and many health departments and first responders to go out and test all residents in our nursing home and assisted living facilities, as well as staff. We became the first state in the nation to fully test all those involved in our facilities in the state of West Virginia. We set the trend nationally to better protect those in our congregate care settings. This also led to a follow-on later on for us to be the first state in the nation to fully vaccinate all those in congregate care settings such as assisted living and nursing home facilities. It was truly an effort that was designed to make sure that we took care of the most vulnerable population in our state. And Governor, again, I believe it was a bold leadership move on your part and the part of your team to do both of these activities. And I believe that it saved many West Virginians from losing their life, as well as from being very, very ill from COVID in the beginning in particular. Also want to make sure that people know that we will continue to be aggressive as changes are made. And today, on April 18th, the FDA authorized a recommendation for an additional shot for those who are immunocompromised, as well as those over the age of 65. So we will again be aggressive once that's approved later this week by the ACIP and finally signed off on by CDC. While it is important to understand that that is designed for immunocompromised and those over the age of 65, regardless of your age, we want you to go out, get on the calculator, go to vaccinate.wb.gov, get on the calculator, and regardless of age, you need to stay up to date on your shots. We know that COVID vaccine is the best opportunity for you to stay healthy, avoid the implications of COVID as well as long COVID. So again, regardless of age, go out and get that shot. But importantly, those over the age of 65 and immunocompromised, stand by for changes that are coming for that next shot recommendation. And next week, Dr. Marsh will have an update on that for you going forward. We continue to work on the closeout that will come related to the end of the state of emergency in May. We also are working at the governor's direction on other healthcare initiatives, hypertension, high blood pressure, diabetes, other mental health and substance abuse related issues that the governor's tasked the task force to help with. And we continue to work to help the DHHR team with the transitions that occur related to changes in DHHR and a particular emphasis on foster care and the various things related to protecting the vulnerable population, our children, as well as our elderly. Thank you.
All right, thank you, General, and thank you, Governor. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Kenny Bass with WCHS and Fox 11.
Governor, whenever we're faced with scorn or ridicule or criticism from around the country, I'm wondering how much do you think it resonates throughout the United States, and how much damage it does compared to the work that you do and the work that people do in West Virginia to promote the state? How damaging are moments where people disparage the state, or is it something that we take too seriously, and are we too sensitive about it? Or do you think that there are real problems out there with people's perception of us, and how does that hinder the efforts that you do to try to promote the state and make it a destination not only for vacations, but also for people to move here? Thank you.
Well, Kenny, let's be really, really fair. You know, 6 years ago, I'd bet nearly everything I have. If you would have walked the streets of any city in this country, and you would have gone to anyone walking down the street almost, and you would have said, "What do you think about West Virginia?" You know, unfortunately, I think the overwhelming majority of the folks that would have been interviewed wouldn't have said anything, you know, that we would have loved hearing about. Now, we know how good things are here. We know how good our people are. And we know that we know the difference between right and wrong. And we're not just in it to see what we can get by with. We know that we're a faith-based, craftsman, good people. But the world didn't know it. And now, all of a sudden, the world has really awakened. This day and time, that perception really, really is changed. Is it absolutely perfect? No. You know, was there bad joke after bad joke after bad joke told about West Virginia? Absolutely. Without any question. And they weren't very funny, you know. But with all that being said, it is really changing. Now, from the standpoint of what I think we should do, we should embrace and try to love everyone. But I really do believe that as people throw rocks at West Virginia, we ought not stand and with our heads tucked down and our, and just like we're just going to take it. We don't need now to take it. Absolutely, the world is seeing exactly what I've said. The diamond in the rough that they missed. Absolutely a state that abounds with the cleanest air, the cleanest waters, absolutely natural resources beyond belief, a diversification, a welcoming to all. It didn't matter whom it is, we welcome all. Absolutely a diversification to all the alternatives on the energy. Without any question, we continue to be proud as we can possibly be of our coal miners and all those that work in our fossil fuel industries. There's no way you can do without them today. Anybody that believes that is absolutely just crazy as a bed bug. But with all that being said, I am damn proud of who we are. And I've always been that. I've always been that. When it really, really, really boils right down to it, remember what I've said and told you the day I walked in the door, the day I decided to run for governor. I'll never, ever forget it. I'll never forget it as long as I live. I was at the golf tournament. The first year, the Greenbrier had the FedEx tournament on the old white golf course. I just got through speaking with Jim Nance as the owner of the Greenbrier, the title sponsor for the golf tournament. And I was bragging about how great West Virginia was. And then when I went out on the golf course, there was a gentleman that came up to me. I'll never forget it until I die. He said, I'm 87 years old. I'm Bob, and I can't ever recall his last name. His hands were just trembling as he was holding my hands with a tear running down his face and said, thank you for making me feel good about who I am as a West Virginian. Now, I wasn't a politician. I was just Jim Justice, absolutely the guy that loves our state and loves our people. And I'm going to stay that until the good Lord decides to not give me any more breath. And I'm going to be proud of it. That's just me, and that's just how I feel.
All right, thank you, Kenny. Next to Brad McElhenney with West Virginia Metro News.
Hi, Governor. Hope you're well. Governor, you might have heard that you are considering a run for U.S. Senate. To what degree would you anticipate self-funding a campaign? On a related topic, one of the other announced candidates for Senate is Congressman Alex Mooney. His campaign has been distributing endorsements via social media for some of the very state lawmakers that your administration works with regularly. Some of the most recent ones include Delegate Chuck Horst, who says, I am proud to endorse Alex Mooney as U.S. Senator. Senator Roland Roberts said of Mooney, I fully endorse his candidacy for U.S. Senate. Delegate Chris Pritt said on social media for the Mooney campaign, Congressman Mooney has a proven, principled, pro-liberty voting record. He will lead the conservative change we need in the Senate. I am proud to endorse his campaign. I'm wondering what you think about those endorsements. What's your reaction to them before you've even announced what you're going to do? Thank you.
Brad, I really don't think about them. I'm sure that if I decide to run for the U.S. Senate, there'll be a lot of legislatures that'll jump on board with me. To be perfectly honest, and here's all there is to it. I'm glad that some of our legislatures know that Alex Mooney is somewhere remotely connected to West Virginia. Alex Mooney, who in the world in the state of West Virginia knows that Alex Mooney is a West Virginian? The truth of the matter is Alex Mooney is from Maryland and absolutely teetotally from the standpoint in every way, connected to Maryland. He's in the U.S. Congress, And at the end of the day, I'll promise you, from Clarksburg south, nobody's ever hardly seen him. I've seen him one time. Listen, I don't care. I don't care what maybe someone, that's having a feeling about Alex Mooney, and decides they want to support Alex Mooney. More power to them. I mean, that's all there is to it. But I'm going to stay rock solid with the people of West Virginia, and I think the last thing on earth I need to be concerned about is Alex Mooney.
All right, thanks, Brad. Next to Sarah Sager with WSAZ.
Sorry, getting undone here. Well done. Hi, Governor. Thank you for taking this question. Tomorrow, a parole officer from Wood County is going to be sentenced for a federal civil rights offense for sexually assaulting a female parolee. The victim was one of 4 who reported sexual assault and one of 10 who reported sexual harassment. And to make it worse, a supervisor has pled guilty to witness tampering, telling the victim to lie to the FBI and delete evidence. And with everything, and no disrespect at all to Homeland Security or anyone in particular, but with everything we've had going on with the state police, was your office aware of this incident and with what's going on at the Department of Corrections with this incident? And do you feel these departments that deal with citizens' civil rights need more oversight? Thank you.
Sarah, I am, my office is aware of the investigation. They've not briefed me, at least I feel that. I have not been briefed in regard to this, but I can tell you that I do think the people were terminated, but I don't know a whole lot of the details in regard to this. But Sarah, I can tell you wholeheartedly that we're not going to put up with this. And there's 40,000 people, I think, that work in government. And so within 40,000 people, you're going to have issues. That's all there is to it. And we're on a campaign to do anything and everything we can to clean up more and more and more. And we're going to continue to do that.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Next to Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. Governor, I wondered if you were any closer to calling a special session to address our issues in correction with staffing. This was discussed during the legislative interim meetings. I was just wondering if you were any further along with that planning process. Thank you.
I think at the end of the day, Charles, I'm going to stand rock solid on what I've told you before. I've sent it up 2 times. I mean, for God's sakes living, we've sent it up twice, in regard from sending it from me or sending it from one of my cabinet secretaries to absolutely do something about these correctional officers' pay, to do something about locality pay, to fix this situation. And both times we got shot down. I've said over and over and over, I can't call a special session and create just a food fight for the sake of calling a special session. I've got to have assurance that we're not going to waste the taxpayers' dollars, and we're going to bring the folks back in and get something done in regard to this. And I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting on my end.
Thank you, Charles. Next, we'll go to Curtis Johnson with WSAZ.
Hey, Governor, thank you so much for taking my question. I have a source on the record saying there is a federal investigation into the Do It for Baby Dog sweepstakes. Are you or your office aware of this investigation? Have you or members of your staff been interviewed, asked to testify, or provide documents related to the investigation? And what are your thoughts on federal authorities looking into the sweepstakes? Did any wrongdoing occur?
Curtis, all I can say to you that it's not true. There's not an investigation that I know of in any way. I'm sitting here with my staff, and my staff says there's not an investigation. And for God's sakes of living, was there anything more successful as far as getting people across the finish line and getting them vaccinated and everything? And you know, I'll stand by the fact that we did everything by the book. We did it right, and it was very, very, very successful. And you know, surely the Lord above, we got better things to be working on right now.
All right, thanks, Curtis. Governor, back to you.
Well, I'm trying to think of the questions that we had. I've got to say this. I always say this in jest and everything, but Brad, if you look at poll numbers and everything else and everything, I'm really glad that there were. And I think you named 3 or 4 legislatures, that were supportive of Alex Mooney. That means now he's up to 7 votes in the state, and I'm hoping that he's going to get more than that and everything, and make this thing more fun if I decide to run. But with all that being said, I appreciate the questions from everybody. One thing we'll do for sure is we'll every single day we'll try to do the right thing for West Virginians. Thank you so much.